So, usually when we picture ancient history, we tend to imagine these really neat color-coded maps.
Right, like the Romans are here in red, the Celts are over there in green.
Exactly.
Hmm?
But what if Norse gods like Odin and Thor weren't actually born in Scandinavia at all?
Which is a wild concept to wrap your head
It
around.
really is. Like, what if their title started out as this traveling corporate brand from the steppes of Central Asia?
Yeah.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into some fascinating historical sources about sacred ethnonyms and, well, frontier naming patterns.
Right, we're basically trying to figure out how a mortal warlord's title from thousands of miles away could eventually mutate into a literal divine mythology.
Because it completely shatters that comforting, rigid view of history we all learned in school.
Oh, absolutely. The reality of the ancient world was incredibly messy. I mean, we are looking at massive, highly mobile confederations where a prestigious name didn't just vanish when an empire fell.
It traveled.
Exactly, it
Oh.
traveled.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. To really get how this works, we need to track one incredibly stubborn name across Eurasia. The sources point us to this as cluster.
Right, starting with the ancient Asa in Central Asia.
Yeah, and then the as popping up in Turkic runic inscriptions.
Hmm.
Oh, and even medieval travel logs mentioning the Alani Asi of Asi, which is the Alans or Asi down in the Caucasus.
It's remarkably persistent.
It reminds me of a corporate brand surviving a hostile buyout. You know, like the original company's dead, the employees are gone, but that prestige label just keeps getting slapped onto the new headquarters.
That's actually a great analogy.
But I have to ask the elephant in the room question here.
Yeah.
Does this imply the Norse gods, the Æsir, were literally just Central Asian nomads who walked all the way to Sweden?
Oh, not at all. And the research explicitly pushes back on that kind of forced identity mapping.
Okay, good. So it's not a direct biological line?
No, continuity of a name never guarantees biological continuity of a people. What this actually shows is convergence.
Convergence.
Yeah. These Eastern names associated with As recurred constantly because they traveled through frontier military confederations. They functioned as markers of elite status.
I see.
So Eastern traditions of the As finding their way into Norse myth is entirely historically plausible, not through a mass migration of a single ethnicity, but through the migration of a high-status label.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. How does a foreign label actually embed itself into a completely different society?
Well, we see a similar shift when looking at the origins of Swedish elites.
Right, the phonetic similarities between the steppe people known as the Savor and the Swedish Sphere.
Or the migrating Vandals aligning with the Swedish Vendel period.
But hold on, aren't we risking just pattern hunting here? I mean, my neighbor's name sounds like Nebuchadnezzar if you say it fast, but that doesn't make him a Babylonian king.
That's fair.
Just because two ancient names sound alike doesn't mean there's a historical bridge between them.
Right. You're completely right. Sound alone is a crap, absolutely. Phonetic coincidences happen all the time, but archaeologists aren't just matching syllables here.
They're not.
No, they're matching braves. Right after the migration period, that highly chaotic era right after the fall of the Western Roman Empire,
Right.
we see the sudden emergence of the Vendel burial culture in Sweden. And it is packed with Eastern martial parallels.
Wait, really? Like what?
Like staged warrior graves, specific types of helmets, mounted horse prestige, and imported goods that suddenly mirror steppe cavalry.
Oh, wow. So it's a matching word wrapped up in matching imported behavior.
Precisely. It's a classic case of prestige transfer.
Okay.
You don't need a massive invading army to replace a native population.
The cool factor.
Essentially, yeah. A small, highly influential elite faction moves in, bringing their martial styles and titles. The local leaders adopt these foreign markers because it elevates their own status. They basically rebrand themselves.
But over centuries, that historical rebrand undergoes a massive telephone game. The heroic memory mutates. It goes from, we are the fierce warriors of this prestigious Eastern Confederation to, our ancestors were legendary heroes.
And then ultimately,
Our ancestors were literal gods.
that is exactly it. It's a process called euhemerization. It's where a real historical figure or an elite title gets exaggerated over centuries of storytelling until people start worshiping them as a deity.
That is so wild.
The Æsir very likely began as a high-status confederational title on the frontier, carried along trade routes and through military alliances, before ultimately being euhemerized into the divine figures of Norse mythology.
So, for you listening, History really isn't this neat family tree. It's a massive tangled web of borrowed prestige.
A very tangled web.
Yeah, a real frontier title can outlast the people who coined it, get passed around by completely unrelated warlords, and eventually sit on a mythical throne in Valhalla.
It really forces us to reconsider the legacy of the labels we use today and just how totally divorced a name can become from its origin.
Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If a prestigious warlord title from the Eurasian steppe can morph into a Norse god over a millennium, what modern corporate brand or political label are we leaving behind today?
Oh, that's a good question.
Imagine future archaeologists digging up our ruins in 2,000 years and completely misunderstanding, like Apple or Nike as the names of literal divine beings we worshipped.
I mean, we kind of do.
Right. It definitely makes you look at the logo on your shoes a little differently. Thanks for joining our deep dive today, and we'll see you next time.